What is good, my dudes? Cascade being here, back on Universalis 3. And today we're talking about my most liked nations. And, pretty much any era above about World War I. This is the nation I like to play the most. And I'm going to explain why. I'm just kind of basic video to get back into things, because I've been dealing with a lot of homework and all the kind of issues and stuff like that. But we're back in it, so this is what we're going to be talking about today. So first off, I don't like playing in the major nations in Europe. It was like Germany, the UK, Russia. I don't like playing any of those nations in them. And how about World War I and beyond? I don't like playing as any of those. I like playing as Russian in modern day, but other than that, I don't really like playing anything else. Because you have to keep up with a lot of stuff. You have to be monitoring the world, especially if that's the USA in the modern era. You have to be monitoring the world like almost at all times, which is great. Or else, you're going to see communist and fascist uprisings everywhere, which doesn't make sense, but people are very unrealistic in this game, so that's how it works. I also like playing as, in Europe, my most played nation is probably Bulgaria. I just like playing as Bulgaria because I like uniting all the ethnic lands over here. And the historical lands is the Brugia and Macedonia, South Macedonia, and Thrace as well. Just interesting to play. Greece is pretty cool as well. Take over all of Thrace, all of Greece, and the west coast of Anatolia. That's pretty cool as well. I also like playing as Italy because Italy basically just let me make my own empire and unite my lands, and I'll be pretty cool for whatever's going on. Which Italy in World War I. As long as they're allowed to make their own empire in peace, they didn't really care. I like playing as a nation that I also like playing as South Africa and Australia. They're especially in World War I. World War I especially because they have actual stuff going on. They can invade, Namibia and Papua New Guinea and all that kind of stuff. And actually take over some land, so they can actually be kind of relevant. In modern and World War II, I guess, in Cold War and all that kind of stuff, I like playing in Africa. That's just like the Congo or Nigeria. The Congo especially, because the Congo is ridiculously rich. It's probably one of the most richest countries on the planet. Probably next to like Russia or something like that. As far as natural resources go. It just has so much stuff here. And if you could take over Cabinda, I think right here, you got a lot of oil as well. So there's just a tiny little province over here of this kind of weaker nation between you and a massive oil supply. The only problem is that the Congo isn't very united. Is the main issue with that. I also love playing as Indonesia. Indonesia is probably my favorite nation to play as. So is Australia, because they have ridiculously easy borders, and they have very good opportunities to become economic powerhouses. These borders are wrong. I gotta fix that. And because I know a lot about Indonesia, I hear a lot of times where I just see these borders that people make, and they're just so bad. Like Singapore, this is not Singapore right here. This is part of Indonesia. Singapore is about right here. This is part of Indonesia. These islands are also part of Indonesia. And these islands here are also part of Indonesia. I mean, even such as like the Millennium mod, did not mod in Hearts of Iron 4, the borders over here are wrong for Indonesia. I mean, really just kind of, I can't play as Indonesia because it just messes me up. I'm like, why? Why? And it just kind of ruins everything for me, so I just don't play as Indonesia in that mod. I like playing Japan as well, and Japan is very interesting in World War I, but I'm not going to play as it right now. Because there's a lot of expansion opportunities. There's just so much that you can possibly do. Pretty much the world is pretty much your option. You pretty much can do whatever you want as Japan. Invade China, you could attack the Europeans, you could attack Russia, it's just so, you could even become like a democratic nation and just be kind of sit there with Korea, and you're like, yeah man, we're doing pretty good over here. How you Western democracies doing over there, killing millions of people, It's a really fun thing to do. I also like playing as the Arabs in World War I, uniting Arabia, I normally keep Oman independent, or make it like it's like an autonomous province because it's a different religion as well as the UAE. But you know, in Egypt, you know, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen. Jesus, these borders. Oh my god. Why? Why? I mean, I know these are hard borders to do, but you can at least you can at least try somewhat. I mean, they look okay, but if you look closer, then they just like what is going on? Anyway, problem I have with South Africa is that South Africa just isn't as developed as Australia. That's why I play like Australia better. I also kind of like playing a Sweden level one because Sweden is very unknown, but Sweden actually was very close to joining the Central Powers and going after Finland from Russia. So I like playing as Sweden sometimes as well, just to try to make some difference. There's one time when I played as Sweden and everything went perfectly. I took over Finland. I took over I think this is Estonia and Latvia. So it was actually pretty cool. Iran's pretty fun to play as well because you have a lot of stuff you can do. Because it's very hard to invade you. You're very militarized. A lot of oil. You just need to pretty much just kind of shackle off all the Western powers that keep on putting sanctions and stuff on you. It's basically all you have to do. China's fun to play as well. There's just not. I get bored playing as China, especially in World War One, because you just kind of sit here and you're like, "Well, this is fun. You don't do anything." Probably my most favorite nation to play as is probably Mexico in the Napoleonic era start date in this game. I mean, no, Mexico is part of Spain, but you can rebel as Mexico, and you have all this land. I mean, 1837 is okay as well, but you have to deal with all the Texans and all that. Stupid Texans. I'm from Texas, by the way, so I'm completely joking. Yay, so on the board over here. Finally, color this. There we go. These borders are very straight. Very easy to do. There we go. Anyway, Geo's kind of fun to play as well because you can do a lot of kind of like governmental role play, and there's not much. You can just kind of sit in the corner, and you're not gonna have much lag or anything like that. So it's pretty fun to play as well over here, just as New Zealand, just develop your nation and stuff. You try to take New Caledonia because New Caledonia has a ton of chromium. I always try to sneak in buying New Caledonia from France just because of that whole much chromium and well, not really chromium, but nickel. This island right here produces about, I think it's like 5% of the world's supply of nickel, which is a lot for a tiny island that people think was irrelevant. It's really not. So it's kind of fun to play as well. And then how could I forget Brazil? Brazil's pretty fun to play as well. I love playing as Brazil. I haven't done it very often because the borders just take forever to do. So I've only played Brazil maybe like 3 or 4 times. And it's just hard to do because the borders just take forever to do. They take forever. So there's just not a nation to play very often. But they are fun to play as. I played them in the modern era, and I actually got in a nuclear war with the United States, and mentioned that. I lost very badly, but the U.S. was pretty much invaded by a coalition of everyone else in the world because they nuked. I actually only had one bomb. I had a single hydrogen bomb, and I dropped it on the U.S. fleet. And he just pretty much wiped my country off the face of the planet because of that. So yeah. And it makes everyone pretty much had a coalition against them. People are spawning revolts in the United States and all that. So it was kind of fun to watch the U.S. crumble after that, even though my nation was in a complete civil war and all of that. Oh yes, and how could I forget? In World War II, I actually like playing as Iraq. People didn't know, most people I'm sure don't notice, but Iraq actually was on the side of the Axis in World War II. So Iraq was overthrown by a nationalist coup, and then Italy and Germany said join the Axis, and they're like, okay. So they sent Germany and Italy sent like a bunch of planes and support over there, not really a massive amount, but some. And then the British invaded, and the war was over after about a month. So, and Iraq became part of the British Empire, or at least was put back in charge of the old government. I don't know what happened. I just know that battle happened, which is very interesting, I think. So when you can actually unite the Arabs that way as well. The best way to unite Arabia, I feel like, is in 1837. You can play as Egypt, which is independent. It owns basically all of the Levant, as well as Hejaz and Sudan and Egypt and all that kind of good stuff. You can also play World War One as you can play as what is it called? You can play as Nejd over here by Saud. You can overthrow the Sauds with the Hashemites, or the Rashids up here in Jabal Shamar, and then you could be the one that starts the Arab revolt with the Emir and become leader of it and actually take control and form Arabia that way. Or you could be Iraq in World War II. After about World War II start date eras, it gets kind of hard to reform the Arabs just because of all the colonial and all that kind of stuff differences that developed over time. When someone says Australia is mainstream. Yeah, I don't think so. Another interesting choice is probably Siam, because Siam actually has a bunch of claims on, Malaysia down here and Burma and Indochina, because Siam was actually a pretty big empire. They controlled pretty much about majority of Indochina before the Europeans arrived and started cutting off pieces of Thailand, which is what you see Thailand as today. They own Cambodia, they own Laos, they own parts of Burma, they own, I think, a bit more of the Malacca Peninsula or Malaysian Peninsula to do today. Yeah, these borders are wrong. Gotta fix that. They're wrong here as well. And they're wrong up here. Much better. Anyway, I think that's about it, I think. Which is interesting. I think there'll be more, but I guess that's it. Anyway, I think that's it for today, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Kind of pretty easy video to make. I'm gonna have more videos coming up soon. This just been a while. It's been a hard time. Anyway, see you guys next time.